They hurried off in the direction of the sound.
Heading off down a corridor, the doctor stopped at every junction and listened for the sounds once more. When satisfied he'd gauged the direction the noise was coming from, he pointed down the branch he wanted his friends to follow, and the process started again. After a few minutes they reached a door behind which it seemed a party or meeting was taking place. Jamie turned to his friends. "Well, what are you waiting for?" He was all set for bursting straight through the doors, but the doctor immediately held up a hand to stop him. We shouldn't just barge in, Jamie. We should always be polite."
As the doctor knocked, there was a sudden and complete silence from the room. Before the crew of the TARDIS could comment on this, they heard a single set of footsteps approaching the door. It opened, and there stood Professor Biggs. He looked at the trio sadly.
"Is it time?
"Time for what?"
Haven't you come for me?"
But there's no one else here. Behind Biggs, she could see that the large room, seemingly so full of noise and people beforehand, was empty, but for their new acquaintance, as barren and deserted as the rest of the station.
"Haven't you come to collect me?"
The time travellers were a little nonplussed. Eventually the doctor spoke. No, we were just passing and thought the station was deserted.
"It is, except for me. Professor Arnold Biggs, xenobotanist. I was just shutting down some experiments before departing like the rest of the crew. I was expecting a Frenchman called Colbert."
But we heard all that clapping.
"Just a little vanity, my dear. I was saying a public farewell privately with the help of some old tapes. Come in. This is the common room."
Professor Biggs held the door open and led them through into the comfortable-looking room. After completing the introductions, the doctor asked him why the station was deserted.
"Well, we've been closed down. It was rather sudden, no warning at all. The others have left already. They were picked up by a satellite yesterday. It's still there, waiting for me. I'm just staying here to mothball a few experiments, generally ensure the laboratories are safe and ready to open again once the situation allows."
And you've no idea at all what's caused this hiatus?
When these emergencies occur, ours is not to reason why until we get back to base. I'm waiting for Colbert. He's the chief administrator of the space station. He's going to return and collect me.
Exactly what sort of experiments have you been conducting?
You interested in my work?
Well, naturally. Xenobotany's always been something of a hobby of mine.
Has it indeed? How marvellous. Well, of course I'll explain it then. I've been looking into how the wild rose...
Within moments, he and the doctor were deep in discussion on the complexities of intergalactic botany and the diversity of plant life to be found across the universe. Long, complex Latin words abounded, and Jamie turned to glance at Zoe. Even she was looking lost. Have you got any idea what they're talking about?
It's well out of my field.
Let's have a wee look round while we've the chance.